Well, okay then.
Does this have to be on a certain view? Hey, we're here.
I don't know where here is anymore.
We're here, man. Good morning, good evening, good night. Welcome to another Market Down Productions. My name is Chad Big Bad Johnson. I am here with my boy, Daniel Hernandez, the heel. We are going over AEW Dynamite. Overall, how did you feel about the show first, before we get into specifics?
Overall about the show, I would say it was a decent to fun show.
Decent to fun. That's all we got?
I mean, without getting into specifics, yeah.
Okay. All right, let's start at the beginning of the card. First off, we had William Regal promotion, and it was interrupted by one very, very agitated Moxley. And then we had a Bryan Danielson there. He came in and said a few words as well. What do we think about the state of the BCC right now? And how'd you feel about the promo? What'd you like? What'd you dislike? Give me everything.
I liked almost everything about this, honestly. I liked Regal's shit-eating grin on his face when he, was just taking in all the boos and the fuck yous from the crowd.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of fuck yous or fucks a certain person chants in this crowd, But I liked that MJF wasn't there. Do you have your volume on YouTube?
I did. I apologize.
That's all right. I think we've all done that at least once. But I liked that. I don't love that MJF wasn't there, but I liked that they got heat from it at least and used it like this to almost make you have to keep watching and waiting to see what MJF is going to say or do next.
Mm-hmm.
So I liked that. I loved the look on Moxley's face as he made his entrance and got into the ring. I love that Bryan came sliding in from out of nowhere. I thought that was very nice, and I like that Bryan still cares about Regal, even though he believes that what Regal did was wrong, and he's not trying to excuse Regal, but just doesn't want Moxley to hurt him because that is his mentor and someone he's always respected and loved and looked up to.
Right.
I thought the slap was a little early
my next
in the
question.
promo. I feel like there was a build up to it, and he just decided to skip the build up and go for the slap, and then get down on his knees to beg him. And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like there was one or two beats missing from like that escalation,
Yes.
But other than that, I thought this was great because Bryan never really turned face, but he's never been a full heel since the BCC started, and this had a lot of gray area in it. And I loved when Moxley finally did speak. All he told Regal was to run. I thought that was so good because I thought he was gonna say, "I only want one thing from you," and I thought that one thing was going to be an explanation,
Right.
But instead, it was just him telling him to run, which I thought was so nice. So I liked almost all of this.
Okay. I'm with you. Almost 100%. I liked pretty much all of it as well. I did agree with you. I think the slap was a little bit too soon, and it kind of not destroyed the promo, of course, but it kind of did shift it a little bit to the downside for me. Mox and his fucking timing is just impeccable. Like, he knows exactly what to say, when to say it, how to say it, in which tone. I think he was on his mark. Regal was on his mark. The only thing that I disagree with you on is I 2000% think that this promo was so much better since MJF didn't interact at all. I know you said that you liked it, but you didn't like love it. I love the fact that MJF was nowhere near it, and we have to wait to hear what he has to say because now that's gonna escalate and build to probably
Sure.
one of the better promos we'll get for the next few months. Before you can retract anything or before you can argue with anything I said, we'll move on. We had a stare down backstage between Keith Lee and Swerve. Thank God this is coming to a halt. I'm really glad they're about to become enemies. I did not love Swerve putting his hand against the camera and us still being able to see Keith Lee in between his fingers and him saying, "Let's talk." But what did you think about the backstage promo or segment
Actually,
rather?
I mean, I liked it. I mean, the staging's really corny, but I like the whole like, yeah, let's talk, but not in front of the cameras thing. I like that they're both angry, but they're still trying to work things out. You
Yeah.
know, it's very mature of them. Um, so that's good. I'm actually still intrigued with this. This is great for a team that was a Franken team for me for months and months and months. They've been doing their best work in the last 2 months. So no matter which way this goes, I'm into it at this point. Like I have faith in this part of the roster right now.
I absolutely have to agree with you. Me and you have been on the same side with this the whole time. We weren't exactly ecstatic that this Franken team came together, but they've been working the hell out of what they've been given. And I
Mhm.
must say, I am equally interested. I mean, I've always loved Keith Lee. Swerve has stepped his game up immensely for me because I didn't see him as
Yep.
such a big deal when he
Same.
came. I think his heel turn was great. And yeah, I look forward to this. Still hate the name, um, which makes sense because I hated the inception of this team, and now I'm all here for it. I think it works.
Absolutely.
After that, we had an actually good match between somebody I loathe and somebody I love, which was the All Atlantic Championship match against Orange Cassidy and Jack Swagger. That's right, Jack Swagger. I do not call him the other name. He's maybe 10% cooler with the fucking hat, though, I must admit.
It's working. The
It
gimmick works.
it is working. I hate that it's working because I hate him, but it's working. Anyway, what'd you think of the match, the outcome?
Oh, I love this. This is the best title in the whole company. Like, I don't care. This is hands down the best title in the company now.
I
Orange
think I
Cassidy
agree.
has single-handedly revived this title that was dead on arrival. It is unbelievable when you put a title on someone who is great and over, and the crowd loves to see that person can defend the title against fucking jabronis, and people will still be into it because they love that person so much. Okay, this is why he's the perfect guy to hold this title. He has revived this fucking limp fish of a title, and the match was so good. The match was so fun. This was like a they could not have done this better. There's no better version of this match, and it's because of the hat. Because the whole match was based around the hat.
It
The whole
is.
match was based around Hager keeping the hat on for almost the whole match, and every time he got knocked off, he would stop what he was doing to put it back on, and that ended up costing the match at the end. And just in what other context could a crowd pop for someone stealing another person's hat and trying to put it on? Like the wrestling is so much better than the things you like. It's crazy. Like the in general you, not you specifically, and I guess not even super in general you, because everyone watching this likes wrestling. It's like it's, but you get the gist of it. You
I
know,
do.
this was I love this. Maybe my favorite part of the show, including what happened after, which I assume you were saving. So we talked about the match real quick because the match was actually really fun and good. Highlight of Hager's AEW run by far so far, and probably will be
Absolutely.
forever. But
I cannot agree with you more. James in the chat said it was Hager versus his mini me. That's an insult to Orange Cassidy. However, I did like the match. I mean, I always like everything Orange Cassidy does, but Hager for the first time in His AEW career looked interesting. I loved the gimmick with the hat.
Man,
I,
a new hat, the hat makes the man, you know.
I guess so. I mean, I did like him enough in WWE, but only when he was like the All American. I've seen literally nothing or any character to him after that, and now he's got a hat. That's kind of cool, and it's working. James, they do look alike. That's fine. Other than that, fucking Jake could not tie up Orange Cassidy's boots on his best day.
See, they look a little like, but Orange Cassidy looks so much like one of my friends, and Jake Hager doesn't look so much like him. So it's like, you know,
So it's not the same.
yeah. So shout out to Dirk. You're not watching this probably because you're probably at work, but you know, shout out to Dirk. You know what? Actually, I got one day. I'm gonna convince him to come and his sister to come on the podcast so we can defend Saraya against you terrible, terrible internet trolls. Holy shit. Because you know what? They're friends. All right. He's been on her Twitch stream before.
Oh,
So,
cool. Oh, you're a
yeah.
celebrity.
No, I'm not a celebrity. He's a celebrity.
No, you're giving a little James vibes right now.
No, I'm not a made man. Trust me.
After that, we had a nicely done segment with House of Black attacking the best friends afterwards. What'd you think about that? How did you
Oh my
feel
god.
seeing Malachi?
It was amazing. I did not see this coming. I don't think anyone saw this coming. If you said you saw this coming, you're lying, and that's fine. Like, but none of us believe you. You can lie about it, but we don't believe you when you lie about it.
Either that or you're on the writing team. There's no ifs, ands, or buts.
Even then, man, even then, who saw this coming? Now, you see, I don't love the idea of Orange Cassidy losing the All Atlantic title anytime soon, but I don't think that's what this was. I think because they jumped everyone.
Right.
So hopefully this is not Malachi going for that title because they'd rather Malachi go for the TNT and or world title. But this was so cool. It was so good to see him back. Any like shitty feelings about all the stuff going on with Malachi and what was true, what wasn't true. I don't fucking know anymore. I don't give a shit. Okay. The only thing I know is if that guy wanted to leave, I would think that was silly, but that's his choice ultimately. But he's back. So all that doesn't matter right now. It's so good to see them back. And clearly, it's a big deal because I think that was the loudest pop of the night. So
it probably was.
I'm pumped. What about you?
I'll be honest. I did. I loved the segment. I was surprised. It was great to see Malachi back. The stable itself looked like super strong. I will be 100% honest. I did not know who the fuck Julia Hart was at first. For literally 2 minutes, I tried to figure. I'm like, yo, who is this? I'm like, who is this? Who is this? And then I'm like, House of Black. It's the cheerleader. She looked great. She looked like she belonged finally. Better than her with Binkerson or whatever that guy's name is, and
Thank
the
you,
other
boy.
dude. Yeah, but nah, the segment rocked for me. Malachi looks healthy. That's all I've ever wanted. I'm glad he stayed. I'm glad he's back. The stable looks good. I can't wait to see what's going on. James thinks that Malachi is going to take the title off of OC. I kind of agree, but only because I feel like he was supposed to win the first go round and then
I don't think he was, man.
no.
I mean, I think we all thought he was gonna, but I see no reason that they put it on
So it was all
Pac
going to
over
back.
him. Yeah, I think so. I think he was, and this is all in hindsight, but I guess it was like we've somehow never given Pac a title. We got to give him a title. So,
And then they gave him 2, which was insane.
Yeah, but that's fine. But no, I'm not against Black taking it from him, but I think James is wrong in saying that he doesn't need a long reign. Did you not hear what I just said, James, about how this man has single-handedly put a title on the map? This title meant diddly fucking squat before this. and now it's the most entertaining title on the whole fucking show. Like,
Any way
how?
that we can get Orange Cassidy, if not every week, bi-weekly, that needs to be done. With that being
Right.
said, I agree with you. I think he needs to keep this for as long as he can because God, he's a star. Unless they're going to
Yeah,
give him the TNT title, which I don't see them giving him now.
which they should because he could save that title too. But we'll see how that goes. But I I will say it's the same logic as with the acclaimed, right? Like, and I said too, I was like, I don't think the acclaimed are gonna have a long title reign, but it doesn't matter. They got the title, and that's all that mattered. And you know what? Here we are, them still being champions, and it's still being great, and them still getting over. And let's just keep titles with over people. There's no need to take a title off of an over person just for the sake of doing it. That being said, Malachi Black is also incredibly over, so it's not like
True.
that would be a step backwards. I would like to delay it a little longer because I think it's been a perfect title run, and I see no reason to end it yet. You know,
I agree with that. I agree. Moving right along, we had a okay, I'll say it. This might be maybe my third or fourth go round of seeing Ethan Page. We had Ethan Page versus Ricky Starks for the AEW Championship qualifying tournament. That was a lot for some reason. I hate hosting. I'll never do this again. Ethan Page is perhaps very above average. I'll give him that. Not personality wise, but just wrestling wise, physique wise, in ring wise. I don't think I noticed that he was as good as he is. The right person won, however, of course, because he's a fucking star. Please put a rocket on his back. But how did you feel about the match? How do you feel about Ethan Page? Should this match not have happened? Should they have not been the finalists? What we got?
so just real quick, if you guys see me looking away, it's because I'm playing Pokemon right now. But uh, so the right person won. You're absolutely right by a long shot. If it wasn't for House of Black returning, I think Ricky Starks would have been one of the most over things on the show. Besides, I guess a match we'll get to in a little bit, but he was so over. His entrance was so good and so over. I just saw like a little snippet from an interview where he said he wanted to use Kanye West song for like just one entrance for like a pay-per-view match or something. And I was like, first of all, it's a really poor time to bring that up, but you know, I actually he's one of the few like AEW originals who I think has had good music from the jump and doesn't need any sort of adjustment there. But they gave him this was such a huge babyface rub. Like he had 3 matches in like 5 days while injured with the ribs taped up, and they went all out for this. And Ethan Page is very good in this role. Ethan Page is a really good mid card heel foil for your upper
Yes.
mid card heel baby faces like your Ricky Starks and your Darby Allens. But Ethan Page is not the guy to beat those guys. Ethan Page is not the guy to be number one contender for any title, honestly, in AEW. They have ruined him. And he's a guy, he's not ruined for me because I didn't give a shit about him before. But like, I said this last week, he's the nicest guy from what you can see on like Danhausen's vlog, but he, I can't take him seriously as a character, as the guy who has a chip on his shoulder when I feel no reason for him to have a chip on his shoulder. Like he came in with the chip on his shoulder, so like the chip wasn't earned. It's like you put that chip there yourself. Like
Yeah.
so I just don't buy him in that way. I don't think he's a main event guy. I don't even think he's a mid card title guy. But he's really good in this role. Like when they need him, when you need a mid card guy to take a pin to a babyface trying to push, Ethan Page is your guy. But yeah, for these two to be like the finals of the title contender tournament, it's like you already got a new first time champion MJF, and so to have even the potential of it being Ethan Page versus MJF, that would have I genuinely wouldn't have like watched that match if not for the podcast. Even then, I'd be fast forwarding through it. But at least Starks versus MJF is going to be so good. The promos are going to be so good, and that match is going to be unbelievable. Like, I don't know if you saw Darby versus MJF from like
I
last year's
did.
Full Gear.
Yep, I did. I
That's
watched
what
it.
I'm kind of think I'm expecting from this Ricky Starks MJF match. I think it's going to blow people's minds. It's going to blow a lot of fans, expectations out of the water. I have the utmost faith in Ricky Starks and MJF, and this could, in a perfect world, this leads to both MJF getting more over and Starks, you know, going through that threshold and going fully arriving on the main event scene. He's not going to win, but he doesn't have to win. And I think that's what's
Right.
good about this, because this could just easily be the star making feud for Ricky Starks to get to that next level.
I've got to be honest. Ricky Starks is probably one of very few superstars who I think does not need to be touched. He's like one of the few that you really don't even have to bother. Like, his promos are great, his music is great, physique, moveset, in ring, his segments, his storytelling, his attire, like everything about him screams just let him be. So with that being said, as over as MJF is, I agree with you. I think this will be the start of a feud that they can revisit multiple times. Dare I say, like Austin and The Rock, and they can just do this for years and do 3 or 4 matches and then have Ricky win maybe 3 years down the line or whatever, however that's going to go. But
James,
either way.
James, why are you booing me? Is it because of the things I said about Ethan Page? Dude is the Austin Theory of AEW.
I like Austin Theory. However, I would think he was more the Omos of AEW.
No, Satnam Singh is the Omos of AEW. I'm shitting on Ethan Page. I wouldn't compare him to Omos.
Okay. I can't think of it. Baron Corbin.
Fine. I think he's more like Theory, but the Corbin one works too. I think Corbin's better than both of them, but
Corbin is in a unique position, but this is not a WWE show, so we'll talk about that later. Moving right along, we had I guess an okay backstage segment from Jade Cargill, who is over as fuck. We have a returning Red Velvet, if anyone cares. You guys don't.
Rev does, I think, for some reason.
Who?
Rev.
I do. I think she's beautiful, and I think she's okay in the ring. But more of Jade Cargill being Jade and just showing everybody why she's that bitch. Any notes on that?
I think more importantly than Red Velvet coming back, Mark Sterling is back with Jade, because even Jade and AEW realized Stokely is a step down from Mark Sterling because he's a fucking joke. So now she has her original joke of a manager back, even though he's the legal representative, but you don't see Stokely in her segments anymore because that was a dumb idea from the beginning. It was always dumb.
And it didn't work. And I think they realized that it just did not work. Sorry, James, not sorry. Fast forwarding, after that we have, okay, I'm gonna let you just fire off on this. We have Death Triangle versus the Elite Part 2, the second match out of what will be 7 matches for the Best of the Best Trios Championship. Take it away, Dano.
Sure. So, I mean, the crowd was fucking electric for this. Can't imagine why. They were in Chicago, by the way, because, they haven't been there in like 3 months. You gotta fucking go back. God forbid you go to New York more than once a year. Holy shit. No, New Jersey doesn't count. Oh God, the crowd was great. There was a lot of a lot of mixed chants in this one. There was a lot of fucks being thrown around, some towards the Elite, some towards CM Punk. I'm not gonna lie, there was some anti CM Punk rhetoric going on in this crowd. Which I just assume these people hate dogs too. In that case, probably might as well have chanted "fuck you, Larry," I guess. But uh, the crowd was mixed. The Elite, I love that they're coming out. So is it Carry On My Wayward Son or just Wayward Son? I don't remember the exact name. My mom would be very disappointed in me, but I like that they're coming out to that. This match, I liked the match. I thought it was fun. I liked the pay-per-view match a lot. I think that was like second, third best. It was like up there for my favorite match of the pay-per-view. But the right team won then, and the right team won now. The good guys win. They had to cheat because they're facing a bunch of lowlives. So you got to fight dirty when you're facing dirty fighters, and by the way, Kenny Omega just did an interview earlier today and or yesterday where he said that fans need to just let go of the CM Punk drama. There's a lot of stuff that just can't be talked about, and everyone needs to just move on from it. Very mature, a neutral kind of answer to give there, and a very a PR focused kind of response to give there. Makes a lot of sense. That being said, during this match, Kenny Omega bit Pac on the arm.
He did.
Typical Elite stuff right there. It's a very nice tongue-in-cheek reference, but it's a reference I don't think you can make unless CM Punk is eventually going to come back when he's no longer injured. So I'm going to take that as hey, we might get something out of this. This shoot might turn into a work, and I'm all for that because then later in the match, Omega hit a terrible, god-awful GTS on Pac as well. He did not hit his face at all. It hit right here on the arm. That is terrible. And I get it. Pac doesn't even want to go close to that knee because he has a broken nose. He's wrestling in a face mask, by the way, because he had a broken nose. And then heels who were just baby faces, but the Elite wrestled like heels in this match. But then heels who were almost wrestling as baby faces because Pac was injured in this match, Death Triangle, cheated in the end. So everyone was just heels here. So that kind of doesn't work. But other than that, I was on the San Andreas soundtrack. I was more of a Vice City guy. I'm not gonna lie to you. So I don't know the San Andreas soundtrack as well, John. But thank you for being here, John. And no, it's James. It was better than Punk's Buckshot Lariat, but it's not better than Punk's GTS. That was James. I know you're biased, and I know you love the Elite and Kenny Omega, and you have a million pictures with Kenny, and you have a semi in half of them, and that's fine. But I mean, that actually last part's not fine. Actually, you probably get arrested for that. But that was a terrible GTS, and don't pretend otherwise. It was not even close. I'm not even saying it was Kenny's fault. I did say it was probably the guy who has a broken nose and doesn't want to risk its fault, but it was bad.
It's evident favoritism at this point. The GTS was garbage. I'm sorry, James. Stop it. I don't care what anybody says. Kenta has the best GTS. We know.
Brave stance take. You really stymied us here. Like what? Okay. What's your point, man?
It was terrible, James. It's my turn to make a take on this match. Yes, the match was good. We kind of knew the match was going to be good because you have 6 good, borderline great wrestlers, depending on whoever's debating. And the first match was good. Okay, cool. We got that out the way. Cool. The GTS fucking sucked. I do not want to see 5 more matches, regardless of how different they are or how much variety they have. 3, the right people won again and should win, and I feel like they will not. With that being said, I don't want to see this match 5 more times for the Elite to win unless we're getting CM Punk and FTR versus the Elite for those belts. I said what I said. James, fight me. Moving on. After that, we get a promo of Renee letting us know that Thunder Rosa has relinquished the championship that she was holding captive for months when she was injured, and we know that she could not wrestle or compete at the moment. I don't know why they didn't do this with Toni Storm, but I digress.
Well, her title reign is retroactively not interim and also counts. So, but yeah,
Okay,
they should.
and that's fine. That works then. That's cool. James is saying that we're going to tussle. I can't wait. No problem. After that, we had a match between the real women's champion, which is Jamie Hayter, and Britt Baker versus TJAS. I will never get used to saying that. Versus Sky Blue and Willow Nightingale. The correct team won. I don't see any other way outside of that. I guess this was kind of fun for me, just seeing so many women being represented. I liked it. It wasn't a great match. Britt looked a little wonky tonight for me for some reason. I don't know if it's just me, but she looked a little out of place and unsure of a few spots. But what you got, Danny?
Well, I'm making a sandwich right now for my Pokemon to eat, but I, it's the same old AEW criticism. You know, the women get one segment like crumpled into one. Like, yeah, Jade gets her own 2-minute interview away from everything else every week, but like, you know, it's still the women being jammed in. Like, this match was fine, but like, what did it accomplish? You know, what was the point of it? You could just have a segment. I was more interested in the promo beforehand.
Right.
Britt caught off Jamie, and that was way more interesting because the crowd booed the shit out of her for that. But then she just started hyping up Jamie, and you know, the Britt Jamie story has been fumbled for like a year and a half now. But the crowd got what they wanted. Jamie won the title, which you know is good for Jamie. But I don't know. I didn't see the point of this. I thought maybe you could have had Tay Mello Anthony you know, win the match and maybe set her up as a contender, and you have Jamie still be a heel but start going up against heels, so she's needing more face while Britt stays heel or something like that, because you can't do Britt Jamie right now because Britt's a loser who just came off a loss.
True.
You know, so it'd be weird if they did it. Like, the match was fine. I don't know. Like, Sky Blue always finds a way to get on TV somehow.
She really does. She's
not bad or anything. Like, she has potential to be really good in the future, but
that must be what it is, though. I think they're like owning in on her because, like you said, I've seen her every week for like the last month, which I don't mind, of course. But yeah, there's something there. After that, we had a backstage segment between FTR and Top Flight. Top Flight letting them know we want to fight. So they will be going for the ROH Tag Team Championships on Rampage, guys. Don't forget to watch it. Black Friday edition.
At 4 p.m. Fuck.
Who's going to watch that at 4 o'clock?
Is that better than 10 p.m.? I don't know.
Why didn't you just make it 8? Whatever. Yeah, let's not make it a thing. After that, we had the undeniably best part of the whole entire show. That is the Acclaimed with their post Full Gear rap. Shit was sick. Who doesn't love seeing the Acclaimed? If you don't, you are a cop, or so I've heard. We had an interference by people I almost don't want to name, but Jay Lethal, Jeff Jarrett, and his crew. That part kind of stuck out like a sore thumb to me. I don't see that going anywhere. But we got some daddy ass on the mic, so I like that. What do you think?
I loved it. I can't. I'm always gonna be biased, and I love the Acclaimed, and they're still champs, and I'm loving every second of it. It is. They are just so entertaining, and they are sports entertaining. And to add a nice variety to this wrestling show, and they are just so good at it. Just the simple things, like Bowen's saying that he feels better after working through a little injury in the match, getting a pop, and then that pop build into the subsequent Billy ass pop of taking the wrapping off his fingers so they can scissor. I don't want to. It sounds silly that I'm gonna say talk about good storytelling, good and simple storytelling when talking about some grown men scissoring each other, but just the subplot, of Swerve injuring Billy Gunn's fingers as over dramatic and super villainous for who was a tweener at the time of Swerve to do that. It paid off week by week. He came out, he couldn't scissor. He was very upset about it. He tried to attack Swerve with his taped up hands. It was great. Slight escalation. They bought him the foam fingers so they can scissor with that. And now that the arc with Swerve and Ugly is paid off and is over, his hands are good and he can fully scissor again. There is a story thread for these guys. Their hand gesture has a story. So I don't want to hear shit from people who are like, AEW doesn't do stories. Bro, fucking Billy Gunn's joke hand gesture with the tag team has had a story for 4 weeks. There's been development and escalation and a payoff. And it's simple things like that. And that separates, like, as stupid as an example as this is, this kind of thing separates, like, the truly, like, the best people, from just the good people, like these guys can tell stories no matter what the medium is and how silly it may seem. They told a story with an emotional connection to the audience.
I agree.
So good. So I don't mind that they got interrupted. They can have a filler 2-week, 3-week feud because you know what? If Jeff Jarrett's going to be here, get as much use out of him as he can while he's on screen, and then get rid of him by the end of the year. So like, fuck it, have a couple week, have a 6-man with the Acclaimed and Daddy Ass versus Lethal, whoever the mouthpiece is of that team, and Jeff Jarrett. You can do that. Sanjay Dutt, there you go.
Yep.
You can do that for a couple weeks, and that's fine because you want to hold off on FTR a little longer, and I get that. So
Right.
by all means, do it. I trust the Acclaimed every week to be entertained, and so it's fine.
I agree. According to James in the chat, he would like them to keep Jay Lethal away from the Acclaimed.
I think you should keep Jay Lethal and his whole group off TV, but if they're gonna be there, I'm not gonna keep fighting it.
Which is so cold-blooded because I mean, when you think of like wrestlers that can go, Jay Lethal will always be at the forefront of everyone's mind. But this is not gelling. It's a little bit too much ROH. As we've said a few times, it's convoluting the main show, but I'm with you. The Acclaimed is entertaining. I want them on my TV all the time. So if this is their next little arc until we get to something bigger, I'm all fucking for it, whatever. After that, we push into the main event, which, believe it or not, I think was borderline great. We had Tomohiro Ishii, or is it Ishii? Ishii. Tomohiro Ishii versus Chris Jericho for the ROH Championship. We had Jericho bleeding from the fucking chest. We had the Bulldog headbutting and clotheslining Jericho to hell. Chaos. I thought someone was going to get massacred. What do you think?
Damn, I didn't like it as much as you did, but I did like it.
Oh, fuck.
No, it's like, I don't know. I just didn't think this should main event. I honestly thought the trios match should have main evented. This felt more like Jericho, not stroking his ego, but like he didn't need the main event this show. There was absolutely no need for it. But it was cool for Ishii. He has I have a overarching criticism of New Japan guys in AEW that they don't get presented in a way that really articulates how big of a deal they are.
Agreed.
And this was close to that. I feel like Ishii looked good coming out of it, and by the end of it, I was into the match. But in the beginning, I was like, this is not a match I want to see. I'd rather have seen Ishii face a lot of other people in AEW, but the match was good. It didn't matter, you know. Like, I was like,
Yeah,
match.
I definitely understand that. I think because I knew it wasn't supposed to really matter, that I just took the match for what it was. I mean, Jericho, whether you love him or hate him, he's always going to supply a great match. If not great, like really good at best, because he can still go and his matches are always like super entertaining, regardless of the politics surrounding him. And we know he's a leech for the younger talent, whatever. But I don't know. This was just it really was the Ishii for me, because as you said, we didn't need to see Jericho again in the main event, and we didn't need this match to main event, but just the bloody chest, I don't know, the chaos, it did it for me.
See, I feel the opposite. I feel like you don't know whether you're going to get an entertaining, a good Chris Jericho match or not anymore, because I think he has finally, in the last year and a half, hit that age where it's not the same. He's lost a few steps and it's more noticeable, but he can still have a good match. It's just not as consistent, but he's always going to be entertaining. Like, even
Yeah,
when I don't think he should have been main evented, but I don't like that he's beaten Bryan Danielson so many fucking times.
that's the worst part of
You know,
Jericho as a
but
person.
like I like the gimmick he has right now and the character. I like what he's doing, and he's desecrating the legacy of the Ring of Honor title by inadvertently becoming one of the best champions in the title's lineage. Like, that's a good story and a good character arc. I just sometimes I don't think it should be main event in the show, and I'm
Yeah.
also sick of Ring of Honor titles being on AEW television at this point. But
Yeah,
that's a
no, I'm getting wary of that as well. I do agree with that aspect, and like you said, it didn't have to be the main event if it was going to be featured. But yeah, I'm with you. I think the arc itself is like pretty great, and Jericho is like the perfect asshole to just pull it off. So it's working for him. We ended the match with Jericho winning and then getting immediately slapped by Claudio. Did that do anything for you? That actually kind of sucked for me.
yeah, it felt like regression.
It was really not a bad way to end the show, but a bad way to end the show. Like, it could have been worse, and I'll take it for what it was, but I don't think we want to see Jericho versus Claudio again, and I don't know, I'm not interested.
I saw that match live.
How did you feel about it live?
That was fine.
However, you don't want to see it again, do you?
Not right now.
I don't think we need it.
No, it feels like spinning wheels.
Yeah, agreed. And Claudio's been doing a bunch of nothing, even with him winning the ROH title. Again, as I said, I'm tired of seeing ROH titles on the show. But anyway, that was this week's Dynamite 1 to 10. What you got?
That's so weird. I feel like I gotta put it at an 8, because even though I don't think there was anything blow away that I'm like, oh man, I can't wait until next week. I love the All Atlantic title match. Actually, no, House of Black return. That's a big talking point. And I love the Acclaim segment, and I like the trios match. There wasn't much I didn't like on the show. It just wasn't like blow away amazing. So like, yeah, I'd say an 8.
I definitely agree. I'm going 8 as well. I'm with you. It was nothing like, there were great talking points, but there was nothing really like wowie yowie. There was no super duper special thing. I mean, yeah, well, House of Black coming back, I guess, is special enough. But I'm with you. There wasn't many things I disliked about the show besides Claudio coming out and ruining that piece, but that's 2 minutes. I can take that. But everybody, have a good night. Eat lots of turkey tomorrow, even though turkey is severely overrated and I'd rather chicken. That's Daniel Hernandez.
Wait, hold on. We got time. This episode went short. I am so over this basic ass opinion about turkey being overrated. Uh it's not overrated because one, everyone seems to have that opinion, and two, it's something we eat once a fucking year. Who cares if it's not your favorite? Cool, it's once a fucking year. It's just a one time a year thing. Enjoy it for the one time a year it is. Or like I have people like, oh, I like having pernil on Thanksgiving. It's like, bro, I like having pernil on Sundays. Okay, I don't want to wait. It's not a once a year thing. That's like a every other week thing. Like, what are you talking about?
Well,
like,
I eat turkey more than once a year, so for me, it's always.
what is it like? You're eating like? Are you cooking a whole turkey or are you eating cold cuts?
Cold cuts.
That's different. That's like a whole. Cold cuts are different. So cold cuts turkey is different than eating turkey. The same way, cold cuts ham is different than eating ham. Is
well, cold cut turkey greater than sign Thanksgiving turkey. Do you agree? You have to agree.
No, I like both. Like,
just agree.
And also, you need the turkey to have good stuff in. It's just enjoy the food. Enjoy it. It's once a year, and then you don't have to worry about it for another year.
That's true.
My mind, I don't get that.
You only feel personally attacked because you like turkey.
No, but not enough where like not as much as me defending is making it seem. I just think what's who cares? It's once a year. Like I'm trying to think of another like. Would you be if you didn't like cornbread and mashed potatoes that much on St. Patrick's Day? Still like, oh, I'm not going to eat it because it's like, oh, it's overrated. It's like, no, just eat it. It's the holiday food. Or you're not going to eat if you're celebrating Cinco de Mayo. Are you not going to eat the food? You're not going to whatever the holiday is. Are you not going to enjoy the dish for the holiday?
I'm a bastard. I'm absolutely not going to eat turkey.
Then you're going to eat chicken. I have chicken like every other day.
Yeah, chicken is the superior meat, or poultry.
I mean, yeah, I agree, but like okay. I eat chicken like every other day. Like so
doesn't matter.
Be a part of Thanksgiving
because it's chicken.
I just don't get it. I feel like it's a basic bro, and I no offense, I'm not saying this specifically at you, but like I don't know. I just feel like it's just it's a common. It's not a hot take. It's the opposite of a hot take because it's very. I hear it like all the time. But anyway,
James is afraid of turkeys, so he eats pasta.
For a lot of people, you know what? It's reasonable. Turkeys are big. They're big animals.
They're fucking huge.
They can be aggressive. They're not as aggressive as geese, but geese are probably the most aggressive birds out there. Forget everything you heard about vultures and shit. It's geese. They're the dominant bird.
I don't know why, but I believe you. Oh yeah, you're fucking Steve Irwin anyway, so yeah, it makes sense. Rest in peace.
Yeah, all right. Now we can close the show.
All right, guys. I'm Chad Big Bad Johnson. That's Daniel Hernandez. Thank you for joining us for AEW's Dynamite Live recap. Hit us up next week. We'll put the socials below. Comment and subscribe. All the YouTube shit that everybody else says. Yeah. Good night.